the Bucks and the Nets played this weekend for Game 7. It was an epic match. The Bucks get the victory in overtime, 115 to 111. That game was crazy. These NBA playoffs, like I've said, they've been amazing. They're going to continue to be amazing. I'm so excited. Any of these four teams could realistically win the championship. Now that the big juggernaut is gone, if the Nets would have found out a way to sneak out of this series, Harden was only going to get better if he had no setbacks to his hamstring, and they were going to get Kyrie back, and then the Nets were going to be dangerous. But the Bucks hold on away in Brooklyn. Just a really amazing game. Like it went. Let's talk about that KD shot at the end of the game. That was ridiculous. He was 1 inch away from winning the game, but his foot was on the line, so it was only a 2. He tied the game, went to overtime, and it just seemed like both teams were super fatigued, super tired. There was nothing left in the tank. Brooklyn Nets scored the first 2 points in overtime, and then both teams just went on to miss a lot of shots. It looked like the Bucks were gonna blow it. They were running some terrible offensive setups, some calls, some sets, whatever you want to call it. They were running terrible plays. They had no flow to their offense. It was like a Giannis post up. It was like Middleton just chucking the shots. It looked clumsy. It was not appealing to the eye at all. Any other team would have punished them, but the Nets were completely out of gas. Harden was not really contributing much. Joe Harris had one of the worst playoff series of his life, or of any player that you want to count on. KD had played the whole game, so he was like, there was nothing left on his tank. His legs were completely shot. There wasn't really anybody from the Nets that could punish the Bucks in overtime for their inability to create anything on offense. So the first 3.5 minutes, I think there was only 2 points scored by the Nets. Finally, Giannis gets a point, gets a bucket, ties the game up, and after that, it was hard for the Nets to get anything going. I believe the game was tied 109, and it finished 115, 111. So it was just tough. It was tough. And KD had a chance to tie the game at the end, but he missed the 3. He airballed it, and then the game was pretty much over. Shout out to KD. He had another great game. He played the whole game, all 53 minutes. He was out there on the court, and it was just an epic battle. KD ended with 48 points, the most ever in a Game 7. So that's really, really impressive stuff by KD. There was nothing much more that he could have done. And Giannis finishes with 40 points. A crazy stat line. Both of them going for 40 points. It was just one of these epic battles that you did not want to miss. And now I believe the Bucks, in my opinion, should be the favorites to win the title. But I don't know if they deserve it. They play very clumsy basketball at times, very unorganized. They don't really know what they're doing. I used to be a real supporter of Mike Budenholzer. I thought he was an underrated coach. He's won 2 coaches of the year, but I saw a tweet that I think wraps it up the best. He's the Marty Schottenheimer of the NFL. Marty was great. I used to be a Charger fan when they were in his D before they betrayed us, before the Spanos took him to LA. I was a diehard Charger fan, and I remember when they fired him because he just couldn't get stuff done in the playoffs. He's a great regular season coach. Was that the best decision? Well, the Chargers didn't really end up winning anything. They did win some playoff games after they fired him, so at the time it did seem like it was right. Who knows what would have happened, but this seems to be almost the same situation where Mike Budenholzer, Coach Mike, Coach Bud, he looks like he's a great regular season coach. He knows how to coach up the guys for the regular season, but when the playoffs comes, he just gets outclassed, outcoached by the other coaches. And he doesn't know how to adjust. He didn't know how to punish the Nets for playing James Harden too long. So if you just think about it, the Bucks, are they the most deserving team? Probably not. But do they have the most talent? Are they the healthiest? Yes, they are. And they have a 2-time MVP in Giannis. So in my opinion, they should be the favorites to win it all. If Kawhi was healthy, then I think the Clippers would be right up there too. But other than that, the series was amazing. It looked like it was going to be amazing when everybody was healthy. And then it looked like the Nets were going to blow them out. And then the last 4 or 5 games were amazing. So this series lived up to the hype. We'll see how the Nets do next season. Once everyone gets healthy, we'll see how invested the three stars are, how invested the rest of the team is. The Nets, they basically just gotta stay healthy. And Joe Harris, like, come on, man, what were you doing? Like for real, you're one of the best shooters in the NBA. You're amazing. Like, we all know what you could do. It was just, I don't know. Was he in his head? Did he not get enough sleep? Was the food bad? I don't know. But something was off with Joe Harris, and I feel like if Joe Harris would have had just a tad bit of a better series, they would have been way better off. Also, I think Steve Nash, two-time MVP, he's a great player. He's a Hall of Famer, but he doesn't seem to be cut out for this job. I think he just didn't know how to push the right buttons. Unlike Tyronn Lue, who makes his whole team, like everybody on his team has to will get minutes either in this series or the next series. Tyronn Lue has been, I completely changed my mind on Tyronn Lue. He's a great coach. Steve Nash looks like I mean, it's pretty simple. He's like, oh, this is my best players. I'm going to play them all the game, basically. And if they need a little rest, I'll just put somebody in for like 2-3 minutes. And then you come out, you go back in. It doesn't really look like he knows how to draw up plays. Like, I already criticized Coach Bud. They had an out-of-bounds plays at the end of regulation where they didn't even get a shot up. Brook Lopez just kind of wasted the clock and kicked it out way too late. Didn't even get a shot up. I put that obviously on Brook Lopez, but I also put that on Coach Bud. Like, what are you doing? Like, that's a terrible play you drew up. At the end of Game 6, I think he did, like, with all the video replays and timeouts and stuff like that, they had like 4 or 5 out-of-bounds plays that you drew up nothing. You just chucked it up to Giannis, who was posting up KD or something. Anyways, both teams need better coaches. Coach Bud, he has a chance to win it, which would be crazy. And Steve Nash, I don't think he should be the guy for the Nets, but maybe I don't think they're gonna fire him. I think he's gonna stay there. And the team does have enough talent to surpass like the deficiencies that Steve Nash has. But as soon as an injury hit, as soon as a player has an off series, then that's when you really need a better coach. So we'll see if they keep him. Maybe they part ways. Maybe they don't. What do you guys think? It was a great series. I'm rambling. I get excited just thinking about the series. I'm all over the place. But let me know what you guys thought of the series. And should the Nets keep Steve Nash?